It's finally here. The 90s Gegege no Kitaro video. I know that half of my fan base has been waiting for this. All like 5 of you. And I'll say it right now. Y'all weren't lying, 90s Kitaro is pretty good. I mean, I already knew that. I watched all 13 episodes that are currently subbed before doing this, like this whole video essay thing. However, enough preamble, let's get on to the review. The first thing that I want to mention is the intro. I'm gonna play a bit of it now for you, and I'll explain why. Okay, did the intro remind you of something? Well, if you guessed the 60s Kitaro intro, you would be correct. The intros are almost identical except for a few changes. And if you do some research, you can find that this was probably intentional. According to the Gegege no Kitaro wiki, 90s Kitaro decided to have the same tone as the manga, but with a few tweaks to make it original. Like, for example, its art style. I absolutely love the 90s Kitaro's use of colors. They feel realistic, but at the same time, they also feel like they had a lot of passion and color in them. Really feels like the backgrounds are alive. While I'm here, I'll say that the first episode of the series is possibly the best first episode in any Gegege no Kitaro series. It reintroduces all the characters well, and even sets up these guys, called the Elementary Trio. According to the wiki, these guys apparently just show up semi-regularly, which is nice. It's definitely better than these two that just show up mostly every episode, and the story acts like that they're important. Or in some cases, just another damsel in distress. Now when it comes to episodes, I couldn't really find many that were all too noteworthy. Don't get me wrong, they're still good. It's just that they pull them off decently and they don't really enhance or have a cool twist. Exceptions to this is Cat Hermit's Kingdom, where they actually decide to make him a threat, and Manandake, which not only creates an effective horror scene with bamboo people, but also makes the titular yokai actually sympathetic. This episode particularly hit me the most in the feels. I think it's time I actually decide to get into this characterization of Kitaro. If I were to describe 90s Kitaro, I would say that he's 2018 Kitaro done right. While yes, this version of Kitaro is definitely more straight-laced than the others, he still shows off his emotions in other ways, and, you know, still gets angry. Best example I can give is the Wan Yudo episode where he comes at Wan Yudo with a lead pipe because he transformed Nekomusume into diamonds. You know what, looking back, the Wan Yudo episode was kinda crazy. Kitaro was almost run over by a goddamn train in that one. My point is that this version of Kitaro, while he's more serious, he's not completely emotionless. I don't have too much to say on the rest of the characters here, they're all fine. I do like some of their redesigns, like Nekomusume for example, but otherwise I don't really have much to comment on them. If I'm being honest, the most engaging episodes actually came from the Kitaro's Graveyard Gang films. Remember those? When Toei Animation tried to make a Kitaro English dub, but it didn't get released outside of Japan? They're not really films per se, but rather a collection of 90s episodes that are put together and they try and make a coherent story out of them. At least with the second movie, they used the King of Yokai arc, but for the first film, it's a random assortment of episodes that had Nuraion in it. And by God, they are funny.
Once that pearl is in the haunted lighthouse, every ghoul in the world will see its magnificent light. Hee. Ouch!
Back on track though, 90s Kitaro has a more laid-back vibe than the others. Usually you can get a vibe of what the tone of the anime will be based on, you know, the opening theme. And I don't know if it's just me, but 90s Kitaro always gave me this cozy vibe, you know? It's not exactly an anime that you can turn your brain off to, as there are more interesting things going on, but overall I think you'll have a decent time with it, even if you're not familiar with the source material. Now, at the point of recording, I couldn't find many specific reviews on why people like 90s Gegege no Kitaro, but from what I watched, it's really solid. Now, I did create a community post asking Gegege no Kitaro fans to tell me why they liked the 90s Kitaro. However, the 2 comments that I got on there were mostly praising its art style. Which, yes, I did mention it myself, I do like the art style of this series, but Kitaro is definitely more than just its art. I think the more noticeable part about 90s Kitaro is its excessive body horror, because what the fuck is this? They managed to turn the silly, goofy sea monster into this, and I absolutely love it. While me personally, I still like 2007 a bit better, I still can see why many people like 90s Gegege no Kitaro. Though, in my personal opinion, if you want to see some of the best episodes, I suggest that you should watch the Kitaro's Graveyard Gang films, as they do have a compilation of the best episodes. Strangely enough, I actually don't have much to say on this one. But I think that's the point. It doesn't try to be something that it's not. It is simply just Gegege no Kitaro at its most finest. And sometimes you don't need Kitaro to say anything that profound. Now, of course, I apologize to those who probably wanted more out of a 90s Gegege no Kitaro video. Artist block has been hitting me hard when it came to this series, and I think I want to focus on other things. I do have passion for other niche things, and I'm glad I can be part of the Gegege no Kitaro community in giving out reviews. And of course, to close things off, I always encourage that everyone leave their own opinions in the comments. Maybe there was certain things that other people picked up on about 90s Kitaro that I missed. Anyways, that's it. And I'll be seeing you guys someday, maybe if summer goes well.